Oh, this thing that just showed up on my head one day. After dedicating my life to meditation and metaphysics and psychic abilities, it just showed up. I think it's my natural bindi, the representation of my third eye here. I'm sure it'll disappear as quickly as it arrived. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Awaken to Ascend. My name is James, and this is Awaken to Ascend, your place for spiritual discussions. I'm your Sherpa on this spiritual summit that we're trying to do here. So I'm just a talking head, and the idea here is to converse with you and get a conversation started. Today, my conversation is about shadow work, everyone's favorites. Yes, I know you probably heard me talk about it enough. I want to reiterate. I want to talk about it some more. I'm not done talking about shadow work. I'm not going to be done. To me, shadow work is the healing. It is why we're here. It is what we need to do in order to ascend, in order to be better versions of ourselves. It is the healing. And a lot of people have some misconceptions about it. So I want to set those straight. Also don't want to give the impression that shadow work is one thing or another thing. It's whatever works for you. I want to share what works for me. And in doing that, we might get somewhere doing that. Yes. So one thing I want to say about it is that a lot of people have misconceptions about shadow work. A lot of people, not pointing fingers, but they think that shadow work is thinking about your past, having a good cry about it, feeling better afterwards, and then that's that. You've done it. Obviously, that is not shadow work. That might be a component, a small little piece of it is crying your eyes out, bawling on the floor in a fetal position. That might be part of it, but it's not it. To me, shadow work is the transmutation of dark energies that you've been carrying for a very long time. The way I see it is like this, guys. Every single thing, single person, place, experience, circumstance, every single thing is something that we've attracted to ourselves in order to teach ourselves a lesson about ourselves. If you have to play that back again, I'm not going to repeat it. But so basically, we're creating our own unique realities, putting things within our reality that are going to trigger us into healing. The problem is that sometimes these things are so violent, so emotional, so chaotic that we just miss the message. We don't integrate that message in the moment. And so what happens is that we carry that longing for that lesson within us. We carry it for years. We carry it for decades until we're ready to look at it. And it just keeps resurfacing over and over and over. And if we don't heal that trauma, if we don't transmute that energy, it'll always resurface. A lot of traffic. I'm sorry, guys. Jeez, they just fly by. Anyway, so yeah, we have to transmute that dark energy. Now, there's lots of ways to do this. I'm going to tell you my way. I like to do the backpack method. So let me just briefly explain what that is. So the first thing we need to do is identify what needs to be healed. And I've made several videos about how to do this. We can use the tarot. We can use our day, see what didn't go right in this day. We can use our relationships. Anything that brings us stress, anxiety, fear, worry is something that we need to look at. So once we determine what we need to look at, the next step is to go into meditation and do some visualizations. At first, this is going to feel like your imagination. I get it. It's not going to feel real. You're not going to feel like you're doing anything. But trust me, when you complete these meditations, you are doing something big, okay? So in the meditation, basically, I imagine a backpack. And this backpack is as large as it needs to be. The size of the backpack shows me how big this trauma is, how big this shadow is. I open up the backpack, and in the backpack, there's 3 dark balls, and I pull out the first dark ball. I hold it like an obsidian sphere, right? And what I do is I allow my higher self, the ego can't be involved in this, my friends. I allow my higher self to go into that dark ball, and what I'm presented with is a scene from my childhood, from my past life, from past lives. It's just a scene that I've been involved in some way. Is some trauma that didn't get resolved, some lesson that wasn't learned. And so what I'll do is I'll replay this little thing like a movie. It's like a scene. Only this time, I've got the benefit of a higher vibration. I can see everything. My higher self is doing this work, so I can go into every single person. I can see their perspective. I can see my perspective from a whole new lens. I'm looking at this in like a 4D sense, right? When I was living it in real time, it was in a 3D sense, but now it's a 4D sense. And once you understand everyone's motivations, including your own, it's so much easier to forgive all these people for creating these traumas in your life, right? You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive them. Forgive them for creating this problem. Forgive yourself for responding the way you did, for bringing this into your life. It's all about forgiveness. Forgiveness is so powerful. It's the most powerful thing you can do, my friends. But that's not all of it. The second part is that you have to learn the lesson. Without learning that lesson, you have not transmuted any energy. This is when I ask my higher self, what was the lesson here? And my higher self will speak clearly. The lesson here was for you to learn this, this, this. And I say, oh, that's what I was supposed to learn. And suddenly like a weight has been lifted. And that dark ball that's sitting in my hands, it slowly transmutes. The darkness turns into light. It gets lighter, lighter, lighter till the whole ball is light. And it's at that point that I allow that ball, all the light that's in that ball, to re-enter my heart space. Come back to me. I reintegrate all that energy that was stored in that trauma. I've forgiven everyone involved. I've learned the lesson. I'm ready to integrate that lesson. And now I'm no longer carrying that little piece of darkness around with me anymore. I've transmuted it. I do this again. Pull another ball out. I go through the same process. I see this scene. I forgive everyone involved. I learn the lesson. I transmute the energy. I bring it back into my heart space. I do this 3 times. The last ball is always the biggest one because the last ball is maybe a major trauma surrounding the thing. 3 is enough for me. I close up the backpack, which is smaller now because I have less balls in there, less traumas, and I move on. It takes me about 10 to 15 minutes, if that. But what I find is those lessons don't come up anymore. Those triggers don't trigger me anymore. I've done the healing. And yeah, this is not a one-time fix it, all of it. You're going to have to come back and relook at these traumas from different angles, from different perspectives. Sure, it takes a long time. It's a thing that you need to be dedicated towards. Sure. But one thing that I've noticed in sharing my healing work and my shadow work with people is a lot of people think trauma is something that has to be major. Like it's got to be some like car accident or your mom used your head as a doorstop or something, right? No, my friends, no. When I say the word trauma, I'm talking about everything. Anytime you didn't feel good and you just shoved it down, that's a trauma that needs to be looked at. You have infinite traumas. The time your parents made you stay at the dinner table and finish all your food when you didn't want to, that's a trauma. The time your sibling got an award in school and you didn't get one and you felt inferior, that's a trauma. The time your parents said we can't afford that, you can't have that thing, that's a trauma. You have millions of these traumas. You go back into your past life, you have billions of these traumas. And that might seem like such a daunting task. It's like, I got to look at every single trauma, every single thing that went wrong in my life. I got to look at it. Yeah. If you want to ascend out of here, I think so. I think we got to heal a lot of stuff. But the thing is, it's like, it's not that hard. It's not that, it might seem overwhelming at first when you don't have the tools. But once you know how to do it, once you streamline the process, once you have confidence that you could just heal any problem that you're holding on to, well, it's just like, it moves fast, right? You start doing it every day. There's no reason not to do it every day. I'm doing it 3 or 4 times a day. Why not? Why do I want to carry around baggage? Why would I carry around traumas? Ew, gross. No, not for me. I want to heal. I want to ascend. I want to, show up in my relationships. I want to help people. It's hard to help people. Look at it this way, guys. Let's look at it this way. Imagine your vessel. Your spiritual vessel is a cup. And, energy, water, is constantly being poured into this cup. But this cup has been through a lot. It's got a lot of cracks. It seeps. And so all the energy you have is just like escaping through these cracks. And you got to just keep filling up your cup over and over, because the water is escaping through the cracks. The shadow work is the caulking. The shadow work spackles that cup up. And that crack is no longer seeping water. And when that cup is no longer seeping water, you can take on more water, more energy. You don't have to keep pouring new water in. Your water stays. And one day, the goal is to have a cup that doesn't leak anything. You've done the healing. You've done the work. You've turned and faced your demons, your shadows, and you're ready for whatever. And it's probably going to be ascension at that point. So that's how we do it. That's how I do it. I like to thank Cameron Day. He's the person I got the backpack method from. Very wise, intelligent healer. I've tweaked it, of course, for my purposes, so it's not completely the same, but that's how it works, essentially. And it doesn't have to be a backpack. It could be a suitcase. It doesn't have to be a suitcase. It could be an air fryer. I don't know. Whatever makes sense in your little mind over there. But the important part is visualizing that dark, negative energy transforming into light. The important part is learning that lesson. And the important part is forgiving everyone involved, especially yourself. That's shadow work. And it's not just the car crashes, okay? It's everything in your life. So don't be shy. Don't be scared. It's just work. It's the work that we have to do as spiritual people. I'm sorry. It's like, if you want to be healed, you got to work at it. This matrix is designed to keep us sick. So if you want to stay sick, then just do what the matrix says. But if you're ready to heal, this is a big component, the shadow work. Okay, guys, that's it from me. I want you to put the comments in the section. That's what I really would love. Also to like and to share and to visit the website, awakentoascend.com. Just type that in your browser and bookmark it. I'm always putting out blogs and stuff. I'm going to add some more stuff to that website. There's going to be more stuff. I've been watercoloring, so maybe I might throw some watercolors up there for you to look at. All right, anyway, that's going to do it for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and thank you for visiting Awaken to Ascend, your spiritual community. Bye, guys.